How are you guys doing tonight? Sorry, I realized I should have gotten this ready. I didn't do that either. Hi, Living Simple. How are you doing? There we are. Okay. Can you remind me of your name? And maybe where we would have met. I'm doing well. It's one of those days where I feel like I've gotten John. Okay. Hello, John. I feel like I've gotten a lot done, and yet at the same time, I feel like I haven't been at all productive. Is that like normal? I don't know. Like I've had this big pile like next to this table that I set up on, and like I did my 72-hour pack video a couple weeks ago, and the two that didn't get done in the video have been sitting here, and I finally got those picked up and put away, and I decluttered some stuff. Oh, that would make sense. Okay. It's like I recognize the name, but then I'm going, okay, where do I know you from? I've been hitting a lot of lives that I didn't used to hit, so. Okay. Well, hopefully you are having a good Memorial Day today. I typically will start out with a water update. I am still working on my water for the day. I got one done. I had a glass of milk. My plan had been to do water until I got it done and then do milk, but it's been one of those days. And I haven't really done all that well this week. So yeah, there's that. I was gonna say, and it's moving things instead of. And I was gonna say, I do want to say Happy Memorial Day to everybody. But of course, that's one of those things that it's a day to celebrate the people that didn't make it home. So a great big thank you to all of them and their families as well. And then the topic of the evening. Yeah, it's been one of those like kind of lazy days where I've just taken it easy and done stuff as I felt like it, instead of like trying to definitely get things done. But it's like, you know how like you just kind of have your routines, and on a good day they'll just kind of do themselves, sort of. I mean, you're still going through the motions, but you don't really think about it. So like I've gotten a couple different, it's hard to believe this. It has been 6 months since I got my capsuling machines and started doing that. And so I spent like a couple of weeks doing capsuling every day, like 2, 3, 4 groups of them. There's like 24 on each machine. And then I did that for probably a good month last fall, just to get all of the stuff that I would need done. And I'm finally running out of stuff. So I've been spending some time doing that. And so, yeah, I mean, it's been a great day, but I don't know, just at the same time, it's been felt really laid back. I like that one. Lately, so I used to be, well, I'm still a list person. I like having lists, but at the same time, they could be overwhelming. So what I've started doing lately is like just writing down 3 things I want to definitely get accomplished in a day, each day. And I very well might go down to 1, but it's just like I've got so much stuff that needs to get done, whether it's, getting stuff planted, and then keeping up with the household stuff. So I am making one of the 3, it's always either dishes or laundry, because, if I can get those, like if I focus on one or the other of them, I can keep up on all of them pretty well. And it gives me, I don't know. I guess I'm wanting to say that it's like it doesn't sort of, not all of my energy is going into getting that stuff done. So I have the energy to go plant. Yesterday I went out and sprayed all of my fruit trees with BT, trying to get the oriental moth situation under control. So I have started doing, I'm looking out the window. So yeah, definitely focusing on one or 2 things. What's the saying about going after 2 rabbits, you won't catch any? I don't know why I'm looking out the window. There's not rabbits out there right now. Hey, Karen. Thank you very much for stopping by. While you're here, do you have anything you do to stay positive? That's kind of our topic for this evening. Another one that I have been doing or trying to do more is put some like upbeat fragrances in my diffusers. That's always a good one. I probably do that more over the winter time. Hey, JW, how are you doing today? Peter Cottontail just peeked in. Yeah, he'd have to be some sort of a kangaroo rabbit to peek in my window. That particular window is about 6 or 7 feet up in the air, at least. So John from Living Simple, he focuses on just getting 1 or 2 good things in a day. And hey, Michelle, how are you doing today? I honestly, one of the things I've been doing is when is kind of watching my inputs. Like if I'm listening to videos or things that are negative, that has a tendency to bring me down really quick. So I've been trying to be more on top of making sure that I'm not hanging out in negative spaces. Hey, Tim, how are you doing today? I was going to say, I just realized that I can actually see emojis on StreamYard now. They used to always come up as colons, and sorry, that makes me happy. And I was going to say, in case I know some of you guys are normally here and I had been doing streams at either 9:10 or 9:15, I do think I'm just going to go ahead and just go ahead and do it at 9, and you guys can come in as you have time. Okay, so Karen, sorry, I got to make that bigger. I just count my blessings every day and realize how lucky I am to have my health, because you can be the richest person in the world, but if you don't have your health, it doesn't matter. That is very true. Very true. Tim, focus is overrated, maybe just a little bit. So thank you, Karen, for stopping in, and gratitude is definitely a great way to stay positive. Hi, Ford Man, how are you doing tonight? And Christina? Yes, positive vibes only. Yeah. And I don't know, that's just one of those things where it's like, I don't have the threshold that I used to for being around the negativity. I don't know if that's a good or, I don't know. I like not being around it. At the same time, sometimes a little bit of a threshold is a good thing, you know what I mean? Where's the butter? A spatula? But you could use the bottom of a skillet. And I'm sorry, I don't mean to be yelling. My daughter is making herself a panini, and we didn't really do it right, so. All right, so far we've got focus on getting one good thing done a day. Making sure to only be hanging around positive areas and such. Making sure to maintain an attitude of gratitude. So that we're definitely focusing on what we have instead of what we don't. So how are you guys doing that are coming in? I'm fidgety tonight. Oh, definitely agree. Although living up north, I do have to deal with just what I can get from supplements in the wintertime to some degree. But yes, sunshine is so helpful. And I think that's actually why, so like there's certain fragrances, and you guys know that I am not okay with artificial fragrances, but like I can put essential oils in the diffuser, and especially if I'm feeling down during the winter time, one of my first go-tos is like tangerine, lemon, orange. Those are awesome for like that liquid sunshine sort of thing. Making your bed in the morning. Yeah, and I know a lot of people think that sounds weird, but it's easier to look at, and it's easy to do, but you've got something done. And I noticed that I have actually gotten to the point that it's like if I don't make my bed first thing in the morning, I'm more likely, and I'll lay down throughout the day as I need to, but it's just, if it's made, I'm more likely to get back up and get busy again too. Well, and see, like, so Tim, I don't know if you realize this. So I live in a trailer, and like my kids' rooms and stuff take up about half of it. So it's like between the kitchen and my bedroom and the bathroom is where I kind of live all day. So I see it in, out, in, like, it's just, you're not in a race. I promise. Ay, ay, ay. My cat's acting crazy. Hey, DJ. Are you going to come over and say hi? Whee! And hi, Firefly. They want to see your face, honey. Okay. You can parrot. This is Charlie. He likes being a parrot. My neck, not so much. Are you serious? He is kind of loud right now. Don't fall, please. Okay, dear. Alrighty. So, anywho. Since they went to wet cat, yes, he is purring, JW. Rather loudly. Since mine went to wet cat food, they don't really seem to do treats nearly as much. Hey, Paula. No, I'm on what you normally sit on, dear. So everybody coming in, the topic for tonight is how do you get or stay positive? Oh. He will jump on my head if I'm not careful. Like if, say, as they're bringing in groceries, when Instacart gets here, we'll just kind of line stuff up along the front entryway, which is fine. But then if I'm the one who happens to be putting it away, my daughter's better at Tetrising things into the fridge. But if I happen to be the one putting stuff away, I really have to watch and make sure I know where he's at, because he will jump on my head. And it's like he knows we're talking about him because he quit purring. Hi, Lisa. Yes, ignoring the negative people is definitely a good thing. No, you don't get to play with the pendulum. So Paula, Michelle is the same way. She likes the sunshine. Being in water or drinking water? Because I've noticed if it, I don't know, it's kind of weird, but like if it's raining or something like that, that a lot of times will actually make me feel better. Almost like the rain is cleansing everything outside, and it's just kind of cleansing my mood too. And I'm not sure why that does that, but or maybe it's like Men in Black, where, you know, maybe it rains because of my mood. I don't know. Hi, James. How are you doing tonight? I was gonna say the staying active part makes a lot of sense to me too. I'm not good at that one. Not good at all. Yeah, I don't know what it is about the rain. I absolutely love the rain. I also sleep better when it storms. I went to I went to the beach today just to be near the water, even though it was raining. Yeah. And like lately, I've noticed that I'll go back and watch like some of the like Babbling Brook type things, or 30 and a Wake Up's been doing beach walks. So you get that wave in the background. And that's always nice. Yeah, and like, so we were discussing making sure we get one good thing a day done. If I'm feeling well, like I'm not like fighting a migraine or having dizzy spells or something. Tim Tim, I'm not sure I understand what you mean. One thing I've been doing is, and this is something from back when I was doing Fly Lady a lot, and was hanging out in Facebook groups, which staying off social media has really been helping lately too. And the groups I had been hanging out with nobody's there anymore at this point, but we would do top of the hour, bottom of the hour. And so if I'm up and lately I've been doing well at like just I'm up and like over the course of the first hour or two, I just naturally have my morning routine done. Yeah, focus is not the easiest thing in the world tonight. But so I've been trying to kind of, instead of like just trying, because I've been trying to kind of get stuff situated on computer stuff or on the phone, but at the same time, it's like I need to be up and doing other stuff. So I've been trying to work the top of the hour and bottom of the hour in again. And that way even if I'm sitting there working on thumbnails or whatever, or like researching, like I sat down yesterday, one time I got the next like 7 or 10 days worth of the Simply Summer challenge worked out as to what my quotes are going to be and what the challenge days are going to be. And then another time I sat down, I've got 3 weeks worth of Rosemary thumbnails, and I got tonight's thumbnail and next week's thumbnail done. Yeah. And I used to hang out a lot so got to the point I was, yeah. Hi guys, this is my son. Um, yeah, that focus thing is hard tonight. So I have sort of left Facebook in stages. It was probably 5 years ago. I actually unfollowed everybody on my Facebook. That way I was basically just getting, well, I say everybody. I didn't unfollow my dad, my brother, my grandma, one cousin, and 2 friends that never post. And then, so basically I was only getting notifications about groups that I was in. And everybody's saying hi. But then, like, I was on the histamine groups until probably beginning of the year. And that was about all I was going on for. And it's like, did I learn a lot? Yes. But at the same time, it seemed like a lot of people almost didn't want to be healthy. That makes a lot of sense, Michelle. And that's one of those things where it's like, I've got to remember to rest, because if I just stay active all day, I'm going to crash. Yeah, and see, I was going to say, I don't know how many of you guys were in here. That's one of those, and the computer's sitting on my to-do list lately. I've been doing 3, and one of the 3 is always either dishes or laundry. Yeah, and it's like, I was trying to keep up with the Facebook and stuff, and everybody's starting groups, and it's just, I'm sorry guys, if you guys have been starting groups, or I feel drained every time I go over there, so I just try and stay off of it. And likewise for Instagram, not so much that it's so negative, but I notice that with Instagram, if I scroll for more than a minute or 2, it starts, and some of it's advertising and some of it is stuff that people themselves are actually posting, but it's like I start comparing myself to them, and that can be a slippery slope too. So I've been trying to also stay off Instagram, which is, if you guys are on Instagram and have noticed that I've slid a lot in the last month and a half with my posting, that's why. I'm not wanting to go over there as much. Why the sigh, Firefly? You've been gutting your closets? Like pulling all your clothes out and decluttering them, or like actually like gutting like drywall and stuff even? I haven't made that a decision at this point. I just kind of made the choice to quit checking on it regularly. And just, one of the big things I do, especially if I want to take a step back from something, so I have 3 cell phones. Normally I'm only using 2 of them these days, but I'll take the app off of all but one. That way, so you have to have Facebook on the device in order to feed Facebook from Instagram. but like I turn off all my notifications. I will put it in a folder so I don't have to look at it as much. And you know, when you don't have something, if you don't have a cue to go look at something, it's a lot easier to just not do it. So that's kind of the approach I've taken with Facebook. I do have a cue to go post on Instagram. And the last week, it's actually been, I hate to say this, that alarm goes off at 11:55. And there's been a few times in the last week I haven't been awake yet. Like yesterday, I woke up, I fed the kitties at 8, and then I got up and did Miss Pinga's shot and got them food at 10. And I laid back down and started listening to an audiobook, and I woke up at like 1:30 in the afternoon. Oh, that is a big project, Firefly. We have been, actually, I think today was the last one on the Simply Summer Challenge of clothes. That's not the old list. So yes, that is, I love having a pared down closet. Absolutely love having a pared down closet. And I definitely design my clothes for comfort. So if it's not comfortable, I don't own it. At the same time, I've got this one pair of shorts that they're gym shorts from when I was in high school. And it's 21. So I've been out of high school for 20 years. They really need to go away, but I still wear them on a regular basis. And I will choose them over the newer shorts that I have that are like just comfy shorts for around the house. Hi, Full-Time Dream. But yes, I absolutely love having a pared down wardrobe. Absolutely love it. You really can't go wrong with that. You can pare down too much when the shutdowns happened and I got told to stay home. I had gotten myself down to about 2 outfits of clothes that I would leave the house in that were not my work uniform. Do you have pictures in them, Tim Tim? Set several alarms for posting stuff, or and Full-Time Dream, I am drawing a blank. I know I should know what your names are, but focus is not my strong suit tonight. That's always a plus, JW. So here's a thought for you, Tim Tim. Is that really clothes that need to be in your closet, or is that sentimental? Oh, to wake up? I sleep through all my alarms to wake up anymore. And at this point, it doesn't really matter, so I'm just going with it. The kids are out of school for the year, so those alarms will probably just get shut off. Hi, Ron. Yeah, the kids are officially out of school for the year, so, well, the school year. And the other household is basically said, well, they're not making you get a vaccine, so if you want to go back, you can go back. So it doesn't look like I'm homeschooling next year now. Well, I was gonna say, you kind of got all of the good stuff. You can be outside in the sunshine, you're away from the negative people. Yeah, so I've got a few of those pieces. A couple leather vests that my parents made, a caftan that mom used to always wear, and it's one of those things that I'm just not comfortable in them. Well, and like this blue one, I don't know if you guys remember, but when I first started doing the lives back here, that was actually a broomstick skirt, which is still under there. But I found another curtain rod, and I just threaded it through the side seam, so the neck hole is like behind all this stuff here. And it's one of mom's old caftans. It's one of those things, I could wear it, but I'm just not comfortable in it, so there's no, and I've got other stuff to wear, so it's not really much point to it. Another thing I normally tell you guys is if we're rating anybody, and I haven't heard from Karen tonight, so I don't honestly know if she's going live. I don't see a thumbnail, so yeah, and it's like, if you still wear it and love it, and there's no need to get rid of it. At least not in my opinion. I know some people will say that you shouldn't have anything you don't wear regularly, but I don't know. I kind of just reclassify something like that into sentimental and call it good. So, do all of those lives bring you joy, Kenny? I know that's one thing I don't know so much lately, but like last year when everything was going on and everybody was sort of like in this isolated mood, the lives were one of those things I could do, not actually live streaming like I am now, but like I would, one of the ways I would stay positive was if I was starting to like kind of downward spiral and go into the what if game or that kind of, I'd just hop on a live. It was a way to hang out with people and get some social interaction without any added exposure or health issues or anything. And I mean, this has definitely kept me sane over the last year. Yeah. I got to the point, I kind of downsized my closet in stages. So I did Project 333 for a while, probably a year and a half or so. And for those of, yes, without actual interaction. For you guys that don't know what Project 333 is, you pick out 33 items. You basically like whatever 33 items, accessories, outerwear, all of it. for 3 months. And you pack everything else away. And I don't have the space to pack everything away, but I'd like move it to the back of the closet, or I'd actually, okay. I'm apparently too loud. He's been glaring at me. Yeah, exactly. But I've got two sides of my closet, so I would just move like what I was wearing that few months to one side. And after probably 3 or 4 of those, I just got to the point, it's like, you know what? I'm just going to put it all together and pare it down from there. And I was probably at 70 pieces at that point. And then I went through on like the first time I had heard about KonMari and did that. And that actually got me down to about 30. So, and probably one of the biggest things that helped, yes, 33 items for a season, with 4 seasons per year. And at this point, I hover right around 40 items year round. I don't rotate for seasonality or anything. I just have pieces that I can layer. I've got a couple things I would like to switch out. Like I would like to get a different winter coat, because right now my main heavy duty winter coat is one that I was given for Christmas when I was 16. See, just get rid of all that stuff, Tim, and you'll feel better. You won't get depressed about it. Yeah, I was gonna, and see, that's just it. I layer things. So like I have 4 seasons. I'm in Northern Indiana. We typically will range from like -20 up to 100. So I have things that I can layer. I don't really have a good winter coat that fits well. My main one I was given at 16, so I'm bigger than I was at 16, so there's a gap in the front. And I mean, I've had people try and burn that thing off of me, like literally, because it's ugly. But yeah, no, it's warmer than anything else I've ever found. And you know, it's really kind of funny. I see other people in them every once in a while, every winter. And when you walk up to them in the exact same coat, and it's like, you haven't found anything else any warmer either, have you? No, you either. It's like, it's just this, and it's this weird dusty blue color with white, and it's sort of it's not really like a Native American type pattern, but that's the closest thing I could really explain as to what it would look like. So yeah, I've got that, and then I've got a jean jacket that's probably not much younger than that one. And you know, even if I quit wearing those 2 jackets, I'm not going to get rid of them, because like I've got kids that have already started fighting over who gets them when I die. So if I ever decide I don't want them, they will have a home with my kids. I'm in Northern Indiana, Elkhart County area. Whereabouts are you coming to? Ron. Yeah, I used to pack stuff away. Honestly, that was when I actually still had stuff under my bed. And after I decluttered my closet, then it's like, well, I don't really have to store this stuff under my bed. So I started putting it back in the closet. So now I will wash my coats like about now, and then they'll just get put in the back of the closet. Yeah, and see, that's where I was struggling, because it's like I was using the bulk of the same pieces every season. So I'm right around 40 pieces total year round. That includes outerwear, shoes. I don't really wear accessories a whole lot, because I react to the metals. I do not count like my scarves and stuff that I wear to cover this type of scarves. I do have two that double as like seasonal type scarves if I need them to. And I do count those in those totals, but I don't count the sentimental stuff that I don't wear. And Michelle, I'm trying, the one that does the 10-item wardrobe. Do you remember what her channel name is? She's in the Mega Motivation playlists. But she did a TED Talk on a 10-item wardrobe. And in reality, I went to France when I was in high school, and I'm guessing I probably packed less than she did, but I was also only going for 10 days, or 10 days or 2 weeks. I think we were gone for 2 weeks. And it's really true. Over there are there's less space to store this stuff. Yeah, so Tim, a lot of people will say that you need to have more, that they need to have more clothes because they have 4 seasons. So like your 4 seasons are probably a lot closer than mine are. Not Cass. Hey, Jennifer. What is her name? The Daily Connoisseur. That's what it is. She talks about the 10-item wardrobe, but then like she has a bunch of like accent pieces. So she probably hovers around that 33 mark too. With Project 333, you do not count underwear. You count like shoes and outerwear, like coats and stuff, but you don't count underwear, socks, bras, stuff like that. Not that you would have bras, but you know what I mean. Ay. So Jennifer, here's a question for you. How do you get or stay positive? Well, I was going to say, I mean, if you take 7 pairs of socks, that's 14 items, and that's about half of what your allotted items are. Or you could just wear a pair of Birkenstocks and just never touch your socks, which is the approach I tend to go with. Well, and in all honesty, Project 333 doesn't count loungewear either. But how many people wear loungewear 7 days a week, 24 hours a day? So it's like, in my opinion, that's sort of where it's like, I'm going to count shoes and outerwear and stuff if I'm doing that. But honestly, I've just gotten to the point, once I got to that sort of set point of, if I get past 40 or so, I'm starting to get anxious when I go in my closet and I'm trying to figure out what to wear. So I don't really think about it. No, then you just have a bunch of towels, Ron. I do that. Speaking of, that's my project for tomorrow, is to wash all the towels. Because all of our towels got used to mop up some water, and that they've just been laying in a heap. And I haven't gotten around to washing them. See, I don't understand leggings anyways, Michelle, because they always, like, I just never feel comfortable in them. I don't feel comfortable with people, like, being around people in them. I don't feel, and they're not really all that comfortable to me. But at the same time, I have a feeling some of that is leg shape, because, like, my ankles are big and stuff like that. So they're just not. But yeah, Ron, you would be absolutely amazed at how many clothes nudists have. Hi, Farman HVAC. I'm missing things. I am sorry. I'm not sure I've met you before. So what is your name? And has that been your channel name for a while, or have you maybe changed it from something else? Get rid of the towels. We kind of like to have towels to dry off with it when we get out of the shower. We need a few of those. We have actually gotten rid of a lot of towels over the years, though. I typically, so we each have, oh, yeah, I just don't own leggings. I do, the closest thing to leggings that I own is, I do own silk long underwear to wear under skirts and stuff if I need to. And like for several years, I just didn't own jeans because they weren't comfortable, so why bother? And then when I started having issues with synthetic fabrics, I had black dress pants that I wore for work for years. So comfortable. But they were not a natural fabric at all. So like I got to the point I was breaking out in hives around my waist. If I was in them for too long, my entire legs would just start breaking out. And so I did finally get rid of them. That's why one of the reasons I was down to basically 2 outfits worth of clothing when the casino shut down. Yeah. So like the towels, like we have 1 towel a piece for showers and 1 towel a piece for like pools or that kind of stuff. And then I believe I have 3 towels for camp. I have 3 pairs of jeans at this point, and it's just a matter of I don't wear them terribly often. Like I will opt for a skirt or something else. Unless it's a super, like today I'm in jeans because when I woke up it was super chilly in here. Hi Dallas, how are you doing today? That seems a little extreme, Tim. But yeah, so I do own jeans now. I don't wear them as often as I wear other stuff, just because the fabric content in them is not all cotton either. What was my inspiration for starting my YouTube channel? When I was first diagnosed with histamine intolerance, I was like, I don't know if I was on Google or if I was specifically on YouTube, because I don't really remember when I started watching YouTube more. I do have one towel that I call a utility towel, but it's just an old bath towel that I used for spills, although I lost it for a while. Which is why all of the other towels got used. Anyway, all right, Dallas, inspiration for my channel. I had just been diagnosed with histamine intolerance, and basically all of the videos I was finding on histamine intolerance at the time was, just don't eat. And that's not really great advice. I mean, to some degree it does help, but at the same time it doesn't. And so I wanted to give people hope that, there are ways you can look at the histamine intolerance stuff and different chronic illness situations and get away from just starve yourself. That sounds really weird to say it that way, but that's basically why I started making videos, because I wasn't happy with that advice. So I randomly found one video that said, just pick one thing from each category and just eat that until you quit reacting. And have a great night, Ron. And so it was like, okay, this was last like March, April. Or I guess May 8th was the first video I put out. So I was researching it in April. But like I did like how to plan a pantry with histamine intolerance. Because I needed that security right then with the work situation. What are we talking about? I wanted to just kind of hear what people had to say about how they get or stay positive tonight. In terms, like, especially with chronic illness, it's kind of easy to slip into the depression or anxiety issues. So one thing that is helpful is to stay positive, because if you are not positive, you tend to have more stress and stuff like that. And most of the conditions that lead to these types of issues can be exacerbated by stress. All right, hang on. I gotta scroll back up because I'm getting lost. Old towels and laundry for spills because I've used my goods. Yeah, and I kept one like utility towel, and then when we needed it, we couldn't find it. I did track it down later, but so yes. So what are you guys talking about? Topic for tonight is, how do you stay positive? What kinds of things do you do? Some of the things we've heard so far, focusing on getting one good thing done each day, so you can feel like you've gotten something done. Having an attitude of gratitude, counting your blessings, that type of thing, trying to get some sunshine, making your bed in the morning, are all helpful. Ron, I think I already said goodnight to you, but if you're still here, see you later. Can I explain more what the illness is? Okay, so which one? All right, so Histamine intolerance is basically your body's inability to process histamine as quickly as what you're either producing it or consuming it. Is the easy, concise way to say it. Now, it is usually a symptom of something else. So some of the root causes could be, well, personally for me, they are mast cell activation syndrome type symptoms, and PCOS. Now, I'm saying symptoms on those because I have not been diagnosed with either of those, but I do have those symptoms. The MCAS, I also have something called Ehlers Danlos Syndrome, which is a connective tissue disorder that is genetic, but over the course of a lifetime, about 66% of us will at some point have mast cell type symptoms. So if you start looking into that rabbit hole, pretty much a lot of the mast cell type symptoms are also histamine related, because when your mast cells degranulate, they release histamine. So I'm glad I helped you. Some days I really wonder if anybody knows, cares, or is getting anything out of it, because it's like I really wanted to anyway, thank you, Firefly, for saying that. That makes my heart happy. It seemed like there was a whole lot of questions and no answers. And I have found some people posting on stuff now, but at the same time, it's like it's either science-y stuff that's way up here and I'm not following. Like I try to digest it. I find that a lot of that type of stuff I tend to digest reading it better. But then at the same time, it's like, how can I let people know what some of that information is? So they're not just kind of completely lost. Before I forget, Dallas, some of the other root cause type things that lead to histamine intolerance, fibromyalgia, lupus, the current bug that has been shutting stuff down for a year. There's a wide variety. Lyme disease is another big one. But basically, some of the different reactions that I have had, for instance, or symptoms that I have had, wide-ranging food sensitivities that don't really make any sense, at least to the random person. Vertigo is definitely also linked. Migraines can be, panic attacks, anxiety. I'm trying to think of some other ones. Hives. I had chronic hives I basically had hives for the entire summer of 2019. So yeah, if you have any specific questions, feel free to throw them in chat. I'm rambling at this point, so I'm sorry. Is she using them and then throwing them away? Because, I mean, you could just wash them for her. So Michelle, yeah. So literally the advice I was hearing most of them, it was like, just only eat when you absolutely have to. and essentially starve yourself. Especially with MCAS, that is not actually good because fasting puts it puts stress on your body, so it can actually cause problems if you fast too much with mast cell related issues. Oh, that is not good. And see, I don't know a whole lot about Lyme. I haven't been tested for it, but I probably should be because growing up, we had a lot of ticks where I was at. I don't really know what to tell you with your hip because, like, for me with the Ehlers Danlos, my problems with my hips are usually that they aren't located in the right location anymore. I have problems with both my SI joint and my hips, so like my first thing is I go to the chiropractor and make sure they're in the right place. Yeah, night, Ron. There are some things to do to help with the Lyme. I'm not great at what they are because I don't know. It was one of those things. I've got other things that were more likely the root causes to start with. So I haven't picked apart all the little ones to see if they're contributing. Have I heard of NFR2? No, but it sounds like one of the MTHR variant type things. I haven't heard of NRF2 either. It's still, I haven't tested for the MTHFR pathway stuff at this point. And if you guys are like going, what on earth is she talking about? I don't even know how to explain that. So one of the things with histamine intolerance, you have two pathways that help break down histamine in your body. So they're DAO and HMNT. I might have those out of order or possibly slightly off, but those are the only two pathways that break down histamine. So as far as what could be causing histamine intolerance, you could have just too much histamine coming in. So that's like you're eating leftovers. That's one of the big things that was causing problems for me. I had started meal prepping, and so I was just keeping stuff in the refrigerator, for 4 or 5 days at a time. And leftovers are a big no-no if they're just refrigerated for people with histamine intolerance. Go ahead and toss them in the freezer. And that actually helps reduce it a lot. But then some foods are just automatically high histamine. Some foods are high lectin, which can cause sort of a leaky gut type issue, which then causes your mast cells to they do this thing called degranulate. I just kind of picture like they're melting. And when they do that, they also release histamine. So if you have any mast cell related type things, or if you have leaky gut, that's definitely an issue. So cutting out some of the lectin type things. And like for me, so nightshades are all high lectin. So that's tomatoes, potatoes, peppers, eggplant, tomatillos. All of those are high lectin. You can actually break down the lectins in them by pressure cooking them. So that has been very helpful for me. Reducing the amount of canned goods you eat. So opting for something frozen over canned helps. So reducing that stuff, but then you might also have things that are reducing the amount of DAO that your body produces, whether it's vitamin or mineral deficiencies, consuming things. I believe that's actually the problem with tea and coffee, is that they actually reduce DAO production. And if DAO processes 70% of the histamine in the body, then you wind up with this backlog if you're not making enough DAO, because as soon as you can produce more DAO, it processes something and then you're deficient again, if that makes sense. So there's a couple different ways the system can break down. And you can actually, depending on what your symptoms are, you can kind of see where some of those things play into it. There's I call it a mind map, because that's what we called them in school, but like, so there's 4 different there's 2 things that process it, but then there's like 4 different pathways, I guess. And depending on what those pathways are as to what the symptoms are. So if you're taking an antihistamine, you can often look at that and like look up what pathway that works on. And that can tell you more about what's causing the problem, if that makes sense. I don't even remember what question I'm answering. I am sorry, guys. Okay. I'm going to quit talking and just start reading comments. Kenny is still listening and watching. Thank you for that, Kenny. Thank you for saying that, Dallas. I hope I'm helping people. I figured, what's the worst case scenario? My story's out there, and when somebody needs it, hopefully they will find it. I trust that the universe does do that. When people are open to hearing what I've got to say, hopefully they'll find it. Okay. Hi, Lori. It takes me a little bit on names. So I will try to get that. So yeah, you've got mast cell stuff going on, high histamine. I haven't gotten too far into the psoriasis thing because I haven't really dealt with it, but I've had some eczema off and on, and like, right, if you guys see me scratching my ear, it's always this one, but it's like, it's right around here, and I believe that has to do with thyroid. I haven't been tested for Lyme's. I really probably should be. And I have been pre-diabetic off and on. And honestly, so I'm kind of trying to get into that some with the PCOS stuff, because a lot of that has to do with insulin resistance. And I don't feel like I'm really learning as much as I could be. But I know that there's several things that I'm doing that will help lower blood sugar. Stuff like, I take moringa as my mast cell stabilizer to help with the vertigo. And so I take, that's in 700 milligrams. So I take 1,400 milligrams in the morning and 1,400 milligrams at night to help stabilize my mast cells so I don't have as many dizzy spell issues. Still not perfect when it is hot. Like if it's getting 80, 90 degrees, I'm still sort of unstable. I'm not dizzy. I'm not quite, I'm not quite balanced the way I should be. And I've had thyroid issues for years, and like the response from everybody has been the same. My rheumatologists, my general practitioner, naturopaths, functional, it's all, the numbers look fine, but you have some sort of thyroid issue going on. It's like, I don't know what. But that's actually why I had been taking lemon balm for the vertigo, and I switched off of that because it can inhibit thyroid. And the moringa doesn't do that. So, ADD and depression. Yeah. Focus. Well, and brain fog is in there too. Brain fog is horrible at times. And the depression. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm sensitive to all prescription meds at this point, Michelle. That's why I don't recognize that. I did have a friend from the histamine groups message me a week or two ago, and her functional medicine team, she's outside of Nashville somewhere, and she actually has an office she's been working with, and there is like a team of functional doctors there, and they've got her on low dose naltrexone. It started with I think it's naltrexone. And that is helping her a lot. Have a great night, Lori. Thank you for coming in. I just realized it's like 10:20. I am sorry, guys. Going through this, has your family been there for you? Since I found out about what? So when I was diagnosed with Ehlers Danlos Syndrome, that got started. I got sent to the principal's office 8th or 9th grade. I don't remember. I don't recognize the gym. In my snapshot memories, I got sent to the principal's office because I wouldn't run in gym class. And that led to, I think Dr. Birnbaum was the 9th specialist that I went to. Most of them, and I'm 14, 15 at this point. And most of them just asked if I was pregnant or not, which at that age was completely devastating. Why my mom kept going, I don't know. But she did, and I am very thankful for that. Yeah, I mean, at that point, my family was there for me. There wasn't really a whole lot I could do. Back then, I could take prescription meds. I started on arthritis medication. At 16, I was taking the same dosage of arthritis medication my dad was at 60. I happen to know that because when I came home with the prescription, we had the same one. He was 60 at that point. And so, yeah, I mean, they were there. It kind of became a topic at like family get-togethers for a while. We do have other family members with markers for it, but nobody, I don't think anybody like in my first cousin's sort of realm have actually gotten diagnosed. My brother was diagnosed with Marfan. He's not sure he actually has it because he hasn't had a lot of the problems. that are typical for Marfan, and he's been very active in martial arts and active sports and things. And he apparently went off his prescription meds about the same time I did. I went off of them because I wound up pregnant with my son. And then I couldn't be on meds while I was nursing either. So, I mean, back then, yes, my family was very supportive. I don't have a whole lot of family around at this point. I've got one grandparent left, and unfortunately, I haven't gotten to see her a whole lot, and she doesn't really understand any of it. So, like, if I'm having issues, like, she doesn't understand the concept of being gluten-free, or that I can't eat whatever I want to. So that was kind of difficult. But at the same time, it's one of those, she's 96, so, you know, I guess it's one of those things my uncles have been more supportive, and tried to explain to her, when I turn down food, that she shouldn't get mad at me because I'm turning down food. It's just, I can't eat the things that they're making or whatever. So anyway, I don't know. That's probably way off where you were asking me about that question. Overall, as far as the Ehlers Danlos goes, I am fairly mild. I was told back then, pretty soon after I was diagnosed, I'd be in a wheelchair full time by the time I was 25. My next to last appointment with the rheumatologist that diagnosed me, he said that the reason he had said that, and I didn't prompt this, so I don't know what made him bring it up, because it wasn't in my file. If you don't go to a doctor for 7 years, they can throw away your medical file. So I highly recommend keeping your stuff at home, or digitally somehow, because they will clear those files out. But he had said that the reason he said that was because of my posture. And so I fully believe that my pregnancies happening when they did and everything really helped keep me out of a wheelchair, just because they adjusted my posture, because, you know, when you've got a belly out here, it just kind of naturally pulls you differently. And like now I'm noticing, like, I don't know if you guys notice when I do this, but like I have a tendency, I'm slumped like this. And that's one reason I have a tendency to lay down throughout the day. It's not so much that I'm dizzy at this point, it's that I'm struggling. It's like the muscles in my core and my back are too tired to hold me up. Just because the stability is not there to hold me upright. So, overall, yes, my family has been supportive. Oddly enough, one of I think he's like a second cousin once removed or something, was actually a first responder at the casino. So I found out a little bit more about my extended family from him while I was there, because he responded to multiple panic attacks. And he was trying to go through my contact list to find somebody to call to pick me up one day, with my permission, of course. And he started seeing like the names of my grandma and a cousin, and he's like, "How do you know this person?" And I'm like, "That's my grandma." And it was like, so then it was like, whoa, we're family. So anyway, yeah, I've gotten some more support from extended family that I wasn't expecting as well, because apparently on his side, they have dealt more with some of the hypermobility and anxiety issues. What do you need to fix a leaky gut? So I can't tell you how to fix your leaky gut, but I can tell you that I have a 3-pronged approach. I take slippery elm every morning. I think I take 500 milligrams. Play with the dosage. If you take too much, you will be running to the bathroom. Back off of it. So that is a mucilagenic, and it basically helps make sure that your digestive system is coated with the like stuff that keeps stuff from getting to your gut wall, if that makes sense. And I do that at least an hour before I take anything else. So that's one prong of my 3-pronged approach. I also focus on low lectin, low histamine diet. Because if you're eating low lectin, you don't have, the basic thing with lectins is as they go through your digestive tract, the walls of your intestines are 1 cell thick. Like that's all so what the lectins do is they basically come in and like kind of like pry themselves into the joints between those cells and make them loose. And if you have that little link between your cells loose, bigger molecules can get into your bloodstream. And that's basically what leaky gut is it's letting in too much than what should be in there. Like the pieces are too big, almost, if that makes sense. So if you denature the lectins in something with pressure cooking, or you just avoid the lectins completely, your intestinal walls regenerate about every 7 days. So the slippery elm helps take care of any mistakes. You don't realize something's high lectin, or you just missed something, or you couldn't get something that you needed right then. So you've reduced some of the leaky gut by reducing the lectins. You've got that backup buffer with the slippery elm. And then ultimately healing whatever your root causes are also helps. And I mean, other things that can cause the histamine intolerant stuff, SIBO, there's actually several other bacterias. Candida overgrowth can cause problems. Gluten is a lectin, so definitely wanting to avoid gluten. Hi, are you bringing me a cat?
Your cat.
Okay. I'm still live, but
like that episode called 3 Robots and Love, Death, and Robots. Just get cat bag.
Okay, I'm not gonna stay over there like that. So don't eat processed foods for one helps leaky gut, no gluten. Yeah, avoiding gluten because, of course, actually, most of the grains are high lectin, and it's normally the like the bran and the germ. So, like, I do better with white rice than I do brown rice. And I'm like 17 minutes behind. I am so sorry, you guys. But yes, so as far as processed foods, one thing I have found interesting that I ran into a couple weeks ago, one thing that can indicate to practitioners that someone has a mast cell issue is that they have less problem with processed foods than they do with healthy foods. Because with a lot of times, if you're eating stuff that's quote unquote healthy, you are actually eating stuff that's high lectin or high histamine. So, for instance, a lot of times I can get away with corn syrup more than I could get away with like some of like the unprocessed cane sugars. Which seems really strange, but unfortunately it's accurate. No to the endocrinologist. I can't, so basically my regular doctor would only test my TSH levels. I have gone to any lab tests now and gotten all of my thyroid levels checked. The functional that I work with some has looked at those results, and they are all, it's like some of them are like borderline low. There's not, but it's not anything majorly out of whack. So it's like, there's definitely something going on, but we just don't know what. My guess is from what I've been reading, it probably ties in with the PCOS stuff more. And I'm just sort of working on that this year. Don't cry, Dallas. I mean, it's not that my family and stuff has not been supportive. I think a lot of times I have had to take the approach of teaching people because it's not stuff that they know or understand. Welcome back, John. All right, so on the NFR2 stuff, y'all are speaking Greek. I guess my big question on something like that, even if it's not a prescription, is it natural? Does it come from a plant or is it being produced in a lab? I don't do well with naproxen at this point. If I absolutely have to take some sort of over-the-counter something, it will be naproxen rather than ibuprofen or Tylenol usually. But that's like maybe once or twice a year because I basically, if I take more than 2 doses, I'm going to be broken out in hives. Oh, yeah. I'm actually kind of surprised you went to a doctor about ADD. We actually went through a lot of that stuff with my son. And even after he was diagnosed by a doctor, then the school wouldn't accept the diagnosis because they had to diagnose him. I don't know that anybody has in any way, shape, or form tested me for anything Hashimoto's related other than when I have gotten my thyroid stuff tested. Oh, the load. Gotcha. Yeah, like I met this one person in one of the histamine groups on Facebook, and she's just going through this whole thing with not only herself, but also her kids. And not just with the histamine stuff, but they're working on EDS diagnoses for all of them. And multiple food sensitivities, they don't cross over. So like they're all sensitive to stuff and it's not the same stuff. She's had some really bad reactions. She's been working with this functional team, and she's had some really bad reactions to things in the last year and landed herself in the hospital for a while. And so, yeah, I mean, the LDN has apparently been helping her. But that's one of those things. We just all kind of react differently to different things. And like, I'm to the point that I react to short-term antibiotics even. I react to the numbing agent at the dentist office. So like when I go to my oral surgeon, because I have had dental implants in the last couple of years. So I've had to deal with that stuff. He knows, my oral surgeon just knows that about halfway through, I am going to start not being numb anymore. So he may, and he also knows I don't like needles. Like, I mean, I don't have a problem, like, if they're in my arm or something, but I don't want to see it before it goes in. So like he makes sure like he keeps everything like up on that thing covered so I can't see it. And it off. So he does really well. He watches for signs. Like this last time he was in the middle of giving me stitches and like he was on my right side and my left side started. He's like, you can feel this, can't you? And I'm like, yeah. He was in the middle of the stitch. And so like and his nurse started going, why didn't you say something? And he stopped her, but it was like, you know, it's just, it's one of those things that happens and you just have to educate people on it. Yeah, and so much of this, it's like, it's crazy. And that's one of the, and I don't mean to be evading questions from you guys when I say I can tell you what's worked for me. It's just from a legal standpoint, I can't give you any medical advice. I can tell you what I've found. I can tell you what I've read. And that's one reason I started the whole herb journaling thing on Thursdays. It was something I wanted to start doing so I could start researching herbs and learning about them. And I need the repetition of doing the research and writing it down and then having something to reference back to, but like, it's kind of like learning names. They say that if you use someone's name 6 times in conversation, you'll be able to remember their name. So, I mean, you guys probably noticed that I was trying to make sure I used Ron's name or John's name. Lori was kind of in and out before I got I got backed up on chat, sorry. But that's one of those things, if I can get that 6 layers of repetition in on what something was, or what it helped with. So things like remembering that onions have naturally antihistamine type properties. That stuff we can look up, and so it can be useful. We're going into rosemary this week and starting to look at that to see, like, what are some of the benefits of it? What does it help with? What, definitely with that one, how do you use it in food? Like, the next one after rosemary is actually going to be skullcap. Just because I have been having some, I don't really want to call it breakthrough anxiety, but like, I haven't had a whole lot of anxiety in the last year, which I know sounds really weird. But I haven't been having the energetic overload. Maybe that's not the. So if you guys don't realize, I am also an empath, and so that's one reason you won't see me on the live stream without some sort of a cover on. Just because head covering has helped with anxiety levels and stuff. But I'm having some sort of anxiety that I'm dealing with, that even if my histamine bucket is low, I'm trying to kind of figure out another way to look at that. And skullcap, I know that's like the one thing I have heard about it, is that it can help with anxiety. So we're going to look at that one. But that one is definitely not for cooking, I don't think. So it'll probably be more on like tea or salve type recipes rather than anything culinary. Is the NRF2 one, is that one the one that was a sub? Because if it's synthetic, it won't work for me. Like, I mean, and I say that, and I know some people are like, you can't be for real, but I react to synthetic clothing. And that's one thing with MCAS, is sometimes you are, hey Kevin, how's it going? Yeah, I'm not sure how interesting it is. We are actually, we kind of delved into a lot of histamine intolerance stuff. But good to see you. You're, I'm sure, enjoying the sunshine out in Hawaii. Oh, and you guys, we had talked about sunshine and time outside. Have a good night, Michelle. Sweet dreams. Well, you know, Kevin, if your merino wool contact there could get me some merino wool that would fit me, I'd love to try it out. Unfortunately, even the men's sizes don't take into account a woman's figure. So sweet dreams, Michelle. I am sure I will see you tomorrow somewhere. You've got a video coming out, right? I didn't see it go up today. So I actually, on the rare occasion, I wear socks. I'm normally in my Birks anymore. I do have smart wool socks, and those have worked very well, which is one reason I really grabbed on to the idea of merino woolen clothes. But like so I don't know where I met you, Kevin. It was probably over at Paula's. Boop. That would be awesome. Please, 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 if you have any input, please ask them for plus sizes. Because like I have no problem with guys' clothes. So I even checked out on the men's styles what would, like the chest measurements, because that would be the deciding factor. And even the largest one was not big enough. But yeah, I would absolutely love some merino wool clothes. I do have a pair of silk long underwear that has worked really well. But the merino wool would be awesome. And the funny thing with that is I can't wear most wool. I have found a few places I can, like if it comes from Europe, I can get away with it. If it's the merino seems to be processed differently than some of the other wools, and like most of the wool in the US is processed with chemicals that I'll start reacting to. So like not only does it make me itch, but I turn into a lobster. So yeah. So Kevin, how do you stay positive? That is the question of the night. And did you by any chance go back and ask them why that restaurant is named that? Because I'm really curious now. I'm sorry. Naming a restaurant Itchy Butt, just, no. I don't think I could do that. They have t-shirts as well. Oh my word. Okay. Okay. I was gonna say I could see Friends, Big Bang Theory, and Seinfeld. Oddly enough, so I never watched. I don't think growing up we were allowed to watch Seinfeld. I don't know if that's really because it was just that bad or what the deal was, or maybe my parents just didn't like it. Always a possibility. When I worked at the casino, our lunchroom had like 10 or 12 big screen TVs all the way around it. So no matter where you sat, you could see eight screens. And usually it seemed like one of them would have Friends going on it. And they were always muted, but you know, they always seemed like having fun. Definitely adult humor. Okay. Most of my adult life, I just haven't had TV. So some of these I haven't, unless I've had, them come up for some reason. Like Friends, I would sit in the lunchroom and watch that with people because they were watching it, But yeah, we had cable as a teenager, 4 and 5. Oh, an 8. Yeah. So Kenny, I don't know where that cruise is going of yours, but apparently in Hawaii there is a restaurant called Itchy Butt, and they sell really good spam and eggs. Hey Dee, how's it going? And guys, I believe Red will be on at top of the hour, so I'm just gonna hang out. I didn't see that Karen was. I didn't see that Karen was going on tonight, so and before I forget, I should probably pin a link to that. So Dee, I and Kevin as well. The question of the night is, what are some things you do to stay positive? People have said, they try and make sure to stay in an attitude of gratitude, focusing on getting one good thing done a day, getting out in the sunshine, making your bed in the morning. Okay. Sorry, guys. I should have had that. No, I try and pin the comment, and what did it do? It took me to the live stream. That doesn't work right. Okay. There we go. Sorry about that. Hey, V. All right, before you fall asleep, what do you do to stay positive? Kevin watches Box Van D's videos, and Box Van D does self-talk. Yes. You guys are awesome. Lori's waist sounds familiar to me, Shanna. But I don't know that I know Lori. Mango flavor? That is an interesting. I'm not a fan of mangoes. My kids would probably really like that. Yes, and that was actually what I had mentioned, was really watching who I'm hanging around and and not hanging out in places that are negative. And then we kind of went down in the rabbit hole of social media for a while. A day of possibilities. I like that. Yes. Well, and that's one thing that I actually do. So, and I don't know why I didn't mention it. So when I go to sleep at night, hey, Blaine, I will actually have one of my phones, sort of, actually, I don't know, the red stripy thing. I don't even know what it is. It's like 2 pockets. Anyway, I'll stick a phone in there, and I have a playlist of self-hypnosis videos. I really like Michael Seeley. I've actually been sandwiching. So, like, the way I have the playlist set up, I will have, I've got some music. Actually, I started with one of the Gathering Within. She was in here earlier. But she's action videos, and so I've got one of those at the beginning. Then I've got some music to fall asleep to, and then I've got a series of self-hypnosis videos, and those kind of rotate in and out. Like if I'm having more issues with anxiety, I'll have them focused there. If I'm wanting to be more confident, I don't listen to you while I'm going to sleep. And then I actually, at the end of that playlist, I've got, actually, so oddly enough, the video that was playing to the fireworks in Ray's New Year's Eve live stream, I've got the instrumental version of that, and then the one with lyrics, and then I've got another Gathering Within affirmation thing, and it's timed so that it's right around 8.5 hours. Hey, James. And so, like, even though I'm usually up at least once or twice in there to feed the cats and stuff, overall, I've got that sort of, the hypnosis videos are kind of reprogramming the negative self-talk, and working on some of those things. So V is meditating. Blaine, the question of the night is, how do you get or stay positive? Hey, Doreen, how are you doing tonight? Welcome back, James. Oh my, you guys. Camping is good therapy. I haven't been out to the trees in a long time. I'm just not sure I'm ready to deal with that many people. I was going to say, but that brings up one that nobody, surprisingly enough, has mentioned tonight. I would venture a guess that for a lot of people, camping would be one that helps them stay positive. Getting out in nature. Jesus loves me. I'm sure I knew the words to that as a kid, but I wouldn't have any clue now. V, are you at least tucked into bed now? Oh, and it's 11:01. I look myself in the mirror, say I am cute. I stay positive if you believe that I get my boot on. Hey, Ray, we are actually... Can somebody check and see if Red is live? Yeah, when I was... So, like, I haven't actually slept out at the camper in probably 2 or 3 years now. Do you like the weighted blankets? I was looking at one I don't like shopping, but for whatever reason, I started scrolling with ideas for getting people for Christmas. And I was looking at the stuff that I could get with credit card rewards points. And all right. I was going to say, just let me know when she goes live and we'll go over. They actually have a weighted throw or a 15 or 20 pound weighted queen size blanket. And I was thinking about getting one of those. Just because I've heard so much, it's like everybody that's gotten one that I know has absolutely loved them. Yeah, my left shoulder has to be warm. It doesn't matter with being a little chilly, just the shoulder. Which lately, if you guys can see where he's laying, if I'm laying here, he will like come up and like tuck himself around this shoulder. Thank you. How do you know what weight you need? So, Ray, and anybody else who I've missed that has come in recently, the question of the night is, how do you get or stay positive? Like, what are some things that you do to do that? And I was writing these all down, and we kind of got off on some tangents earlier, and I'll go back and rewatch this and pick up some others, but you know, some of the things we've had: attitude of gratitude, making sure we get one thing done each day, instead of like trying to focus on a whole list of things. Sunshine. I don't even getting like, even if it's not sunshiny, getting out in the garden and getting my hand another one. Okay. I have been on here for like 2 hours and I can tell I am getting hoarse. We are going to go over and raid. Not that I can talk. We are going to go over and raid red. Thank you guys so much for coming. Thank you for all of the ideas and conversation around staying positive tonight. Earthing. That is rejuvenating every morning. Oh, earthing. I was going to say earthing's like walking around and getting your feet on the actual dirt, right? Yes. I don't think it's the same way in kids. I think that kind of sparks imagination to some degree, but otherwise, I think in adults, it just leads to, for me, it leads to the what if game. And as a good friend of mine once said, you might be able to stay positive for a few rounds of that, but ultimately it always goes downhill. So anyways, thank you guys so much for coming. Feel free to drop in how you get or stay positive into the chat. We are just headed out to raid Redheaded Riding Hood. So I will see you guys later. Have a great night. And the link is pinned if if you missed that, or at least it should be.